Hello, and here we are in Game 1 of this round of 16 match for Diamond Cycle 9 between Team TKAG, Team KAGE, and dnL Esports. So, the Legion side over here, a team you should remember because they've since added some pretty recognizable players over here. Just TPS Priceless and Mizukami, I think perhaps the only guys that people might know. Kindman over there has maintained his position as the team captain, so he's making a name for himself. I don't think I've heard of him before this team, but of course picking up names. Panny, I feel like Nox is playing for them. Something like that. Yeah, I don't know. Somebody else. Other people are playing for TCOG. People that you would know. I promise. It's definitely true. dnL, of course, a very well-known team. Slap, Flensmeister, Support, Probusk, and Mickey, all well-known. Mickey eventually deciding he's not going to play competitive HoN anymore, and they did pick up Keizu, so obviously an earlier edition of the team that still has Mickey on it. And should be a pretty good matchup here, as these teams have some strong talent on either side. Banned so far are Scout, Ophelia, Cersei, and Wretched Hag. So Oaf Cersei, we saw that a lot in Cycle 10, and this is the first time we've seen that in Cycle 9, but not surprising that they get banned out. Not surprising that Hag or Scout would get banned out either. Very powerful heroes, extremely annoying to deal with, and not really considered heroes that you want to let the other team have, so no question it's not surprising that they get banned out there. Warbeast first picked here by the Legion side, as that's not surprising either. He's often banned out in the initial banning stage, and a very powerful hero in his own right, of course, in that suicide role, using those minions to drag creeps, and tends to be able to recover pretty well despite being a melee suicide that doesn't tend to get a lot of CS in the lane. Bubbles first picked over here for dnL, as a versatile hero is there. Can be run in the short lane. We've seen that happen a few times. I don't like it very much myself. Doesn't seem to do very well, but either as a mid or a suicide, a very effective hero. Very strong in the middle game. Tapers up a little bit towards the end, but if you're active early and you keep roaming, then you can do a lot with your Shell Surf, Song of the Sea, and even Kelpfield in terms of ganks and picking off heroes. So two strong heroes here. Nothing to debate much from either side, as I would imagine both of these heroes are the suicide for their respective teams. So both, I mean, I'm sure Warbeast is the suicide here for the Legion side, but I would expect Bubbles to be the suicide for Hellborn, with Mickey playing that role. And we'll see if that actually is the case, but dnL having a little more flexibility at this point, just because, you know, Warbeast's rule is basically set in stone. And now maybe not, as they're going to choose the Keeper on top of that. So now this is a little interesting. We've also seen Keeper short-laned by Reason Gaming. I don't really like that very much. I think both of these heroes work better as suicides, so I'm not sure what the hell's going on here. But choosing to go to the Warbeast Keeper, some synergy there, as the Keeper root will lock people down and let Warbeast in his alt form chase people, or kill people without having to chase them. That's really one of the issues he has. And it's one of the reasons Bubbles is actually a good pick against him or with him, as locking people down with that Kelpfield helps Warbeast out a lot. If you lock the Warbeast himself down with the Kelpfield, he gets extremely annoyed because he doesn't have a slow or a stun. He just gets really fast and has unit walking, so he's extremely hard to lock down, and he's extremely hard to kill because he can run away. But if you're getting chased by him, he's often not quite fast enough to consistently do enough damage to kill you. We've seen a number of situations where Warbeast is chasing people down looking for the kill and just can't find it, despite the fact that he is so fast. It's just when you're running away and he has to have auto attacks every so often, it's just like, well, that's not really very helpful. So we'll see what happens there. I think I'd like to see the Keeper in the jungle and the Warbeast still suiciding. I don't think Keeper in lane makes a ton of sense, but if you're going to do that, picking up a Tempest probably would have made just as much, if not more, sense. Parasite, similar vein, although right now the Legion side has a ton of push potential, and Warbeast Keeper works together a little bit better than Warbeast Parasite does, as Parasite's more of a burst gank hero than a lockdown teamfight hero, and Warbeast really appreciates that root coming out. So I think perhaps a little more synergy there between those two heroes on the Legion side, but certainly not expecting Keeper to be in the jungle, as he isn't usually run that way, but I don't really see what other options they have, so yeah, maybe I am expecting it. Last pick over here for the Legion side is Master of Arms, obviously typically run as a support hero, but can be played as a carry, as a farmer. Doesn't do super well in that role. I feel like he's got some issues. The team fight for him isn't great. He does quite a bit of single target damage, but not too much in an AoE, and in general, he's just doesn't scale all that well. He tends to remain really, really, really squishy, so picking him off isn't that big a problem, and he is generally quite immobile, no escape mechanism. He does have a stun and a slow, of course, which are very helpful in a support role, but as a carry, you want to use those offensively instead of defensively, and it seems like if you have to use him defensively, you're not going to do very well because the stun single target and the Fork Lightning isn't that powerful. So the Master's Call, of course, helping with that armor, but towards the mid-end game, even that's not going to help you out too much. It's just going to mitigate some damage. It usually doesn't prevent you from actually dying. You need an escape mechanism for that. But the last pick over here by the Hellborn side will be Tundra, so Bubbles Tempest so far providing some pretty strong mid-game. Tundra will help them a little bit more in the late, so will Tempest for that matter if he gets a really good hole off, but with Keeper of the Forest on Legion side, it's unlikely, I think, that he'll be able to channel that ultimate for very long, as the root will come out and stop him relatively quickly. But Tundra providing a little bit more late game, really a utility hero, I think, is the best way to put it for him. He does a little bit of everything. He ganks a little bit, pushes a little bit, he carries a little bit, but he doesn't do anything extremely well. Perhaps the only reason to pick him over some other heroes is the versatility he provides, but also the Hawk, of course, providing lots of support of vision, and if you can manage to put that in a consistently good place, then you can anticipate incoming ganks, you can scout things out so your own ganks don't get countered, and really is a very good tool if it is used correctly. So we'll see how well Tundra does. I suspect that's going to be Probusk there, as actually he's pretty well known for playing Tundra, so there's also a player-hero combination there that's a little notorious, I think. Bans here, as we've moved into the second picking stage, are Sandwraith, Drunken Master, and Kraken from the Legion side, so taking out some short laners there. Corrupt Disciple, Pestilence, and Slither from the Hellborn side, as they're also taking out some short laners, so dnL definitely looking for a short lane hero here. Still have Moon Queen Gemini available. They've got Chronos, Draconis. So there's some options here. Dr. Repulsor. If they want to go for a short laner, it's not like their options are super limited. I think Moon Queen here is the best opportunity. Between the Kelp Field and the Tempest Ultimate, there's a lot of opportunity to lock people down and make them eat the full brunt of those MQ Moonbeams with her ultimate, as well as the multi-strike. So I think she would work quite well in this lineup, as well as with the pushing potential of Tundra, Tempest, and Bubbles to some extent. She's a pretty strong pusher, so that would help the Hellborn side push down some towers, take some team fights, and it seems like with the carry potential that she provides, it would be very, very positive for them. Then again, I think Moon Queen fits into every lineup, and she pretty much does, because she's amazing. But who knows? Legion side going to make their last two picks here with Succubus and Balfagor coming out. So two heroes we don't see too often. Balfagor, every so often he'll pop up, particularly in the hands of SG, as they like to run that Balfagor Disham Strahd. They don't do it too much anymore, but they were doing it for enough a few months ago that it was starting to get banned, that Balf was starting to get banned against them. So we'll see how TKAG can run with that. Obviously, over here, they have insane push. Warbeast, Keeper of the Forest, and Balfagor, all very, very strong pushers, all have very strong minions, and that battle cry from Warbeast is going to be insane. Of course, giving extra damage to not only heroes, but also minions. And I believe it does give, yeah, to every minion. Allied player-controlled units receive plus 16 bonus damage. So yeah, they give lots of damage there with all those minions, so Hellborn could have a bit of an issue pushing, keeping up against this push that the Legion is bringing. I think the only real problem here is they've got the 3 core melee heroes, and I like to see at least one ranged in that, just because it can sometimes be an issue with positioning when you have that many heroes that need to get in the middle of a fight. And Keep Root will help with that a little bit, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. Hellborn finish off with Empath and Midas. So I can't say I saw the Midas coming. Flensmeister will be on this Bubbles, which means he's their carry, so they better win this game in less than half an hour, because if they don't, they lose. And I don't like that pick, to be honest. Mickey's going to end up playing the Suicide Midas, so the only thing this Midas really provides that is positive is early game damage, so that'll complement Bubbles well. They'll be able to get some picks with the magic damage there, as well as the anti-push. So all the minions coming out here from the Legion side are going to get nuked down by Midas and Bubbles. So that's very nice, but if this game goes past half an hour, Hellborn will not win. I can basically guarantee that. just because like it's not. I'm not sure if it's possible to win. You know, after that point. I mean, just look. You look at the Hellborn side. You're like, where's the carry, man? It's Tundra. Tundra's the carry. That can't have a Tundra carry. No, it doesn't work. I don't know. We'll see what they do. I think they're going to have to be aggressive early and often, so maybe this will be a really fun game where they just trounce their opponents, but it's not like TKAG don't know what they're doing here, so if they play a little defensive early on, ward the crap out of the map and call all their missings, make sure that they're relatively safe whenever they play. I think if they can survive through the first 20 or 30 minutes of this game, they'll have a late game pretty easy. Warbeast is by far the hardest carry in this game. And after that, maybe Tundra or Balfagor, depending on which one gets farmed. But I'm really, really scared here for the Hellborn because, like, there's a very reasonable chance this game goes late enough for Legion to just say, okay, now we don't care anymore about your damage because we're all going to buy Shrunken Heads, and they are, and all of Hellborn's damage is magic. All of it. There is no physical damage here whatsoever. Right-click autos from Tundra are not going to be enough to deal with that. And they're running crazy lanes here on both sides. Succubus solo bottom. That's unexpected. I would figure that would be a support and Master would be the carry, but no, gonna be Master support. I don't like that. As much as I don't like Succubus or Master Forms as a carry, I like Succubus even less. So this is Charge Shot gonna be there on Empath, but she should be fine. As much as they have the late game here with Warbeast already, they could definitely secure it with Master of Arms. Give him some farm. He actually does pretty well in the mid-game too, so that would help get you through that early to mid-game stage where all the magic damage is going to be coming out from the Hellborn side. And if you can survive that, you pretty much win, especially if you have a Warbeast and a Master of Arms farmed up, because there's going to be no right-click damage on the Hellborn side. Instead, they're choosing to bring Succubus into this, which is a mid-game carry or mid-game hero. You know, if there ever was one, she's not going to do very much at the end of the game, as Master is going to be down here supporting her a little bit, and he's going to take some damage actually. Nice charge shot there, looking for the wall, cuts to the trees, and the wall will cut him off a little bit. But well, look at the elemental warp, not going to happen. As a sleep goes out onto Empath, and now she could be in a little bit of trouble. There's a charge shot once again, and she's going to die. So, bit of a misplay there from dnL, and already we're seeing some nice play from the Legion side. So I don't like this at all. I mean, like, I don't understand why Midas has to be down here with Empath. He would do fine on his own against Succubus, probably wouldn't die. And now Empath is taking all of his experience, and Midas needs experience like crazy. Like, that's what he needs to be a much higher level than everybody else on the map as quickly as possible. Meanwhile, in middle, it's Balfagor versus Tundra, and Empath here could do pretty well. Empath would, of course, they initially expected Empath would be mid with Tundra, that's why they sent Master there. But Succubus is just trading auto attacks, and this is going to be a dead Empath. Like, they have the heartache. I don't know what support's doing there. It's 2 kills here for Succubus. There's a charge shot onto Midas, so he's going to take some damage. And already Blood Chalice here on Succubus, so she can just spam that heartache on her opponents and get all her health back. Or all their mana back with Fork Lightning will stop the mana potion immediately, so I don't know what the hell dnL is doing here, but it's pretty ugly. As their lanes are kind of screwed, I think the draft is fairly bad. I'm not a really big fan of Legion's draft either, but... And I'm even less of a fan of their lane. Suicide Warbeast obviously making a ton of sense. Like I said, I don't like the short lane bubbles. It just doesn't tend to do enough. I mean, Warbeast is here getting farm, and Flensmeister's taking a bunch of harass. He's got so much regen too. Brought tangos and a health pot. Warbeast is still sitting on a tango, so he's okay, as these wolves are just destroying Flensmeister. He's gonna have to pop his health potion right here, and he will. And Warbeast looking to cancel it. Won't, as actually Flensmeister has to jump into the woods a little bit here. Instead, putting quite a bit of harass over here. Tempest's going to jump. We'll find a Glacial Blast, so Warbeast's now in a lot of trouble. He will drop here, as the Shell Surf is available. Not even going to be necessary, just the auto attack is going to be enough. So Kindman over there misplaying a little bit, giving himself up. And Bubbles is going stats. He only has 3 points into Shell Surf, nothing can take cover or Song of the Sea, so I don't know if he's saving them or if he's going stats. But everything about this game is weird. Keeper gonna show up bottom. The wall goes out, does more or less nothing except nuke down these creeps here. Charge shot onto Empath, and nothing else gonna come of that though. And Midas taking a ton of damage here, between the Heartache and the Master's Call, or the Master's Goo. As in middle, Problock actually gets a kill on the Slate there, so well done. Hell, I comes out, but a DD on Tundra, and that's just enough. Oh god, he doesn't have the minions on him, and he does get the return kill there. So obviously, in Probusk's favor, as he does get the experience, the kill, but actually Slate got another 100 gold out of it then. So that's fine. Pretty decent trade there, as Hellborn is massively ahead in gold and experience for some reason, and it's because Tempest has 300 GPM and Keeper has 200. As the rest of the lanes are mostly even. Charge shot there onto Midas, so we're looking for a kill. Elemental Warp actually forward on the Succubus, and that's going to be a death. As the Blood Chalice heal helps, Succubus just barely going to live here. And looking to not die, she will. Tundra's coming over here for the gank. Are the Piercing Shards going to be available? There's not going to be range. Just a little too fast. And actually, Balf going to put down the Regurgitate. But Rune will spawn in a couple of seconds, and it is bot invis for Tundra. So we'll see what he can make of that. But right now, the farm is, the difference is just Tempest and Keeper. As Tempest is pretty massively outfarming Keeper. Not a surprise there. Keeper, a slightly slower jungler, especially if you go the Nature's Veil route, which he did. If you max Entmoot, then you're typically going to jungle pretty fast, but without that, you won't. Top tower push coming in here as Tempest Elementals are level 3, and will do quite a bit of damage here. I'm not sure if they'll get the tower kill. I think they're going to despawn soon. But yeah, this actually will be a tower kill. Attempt to deny with the wolves, not going to happen. Kelfield actually goes out here onto Warbeast as my camera's running around for some reason. And are we going to see the Tempest Ultimate? No, just Glacial Blasts are enough, as there is no ultimate available for Warbeast, so auto attacks and Glacial Blasts are plenty. Tempest saving his ulti. Sleep onto Empath, making her a little scared. Charge shot there will stop the Elemental Warp, plus the ultimate from Succubus on top of the Master's Goo, and a couple of auto attacks here. Nice Heartache, and is he going to be able to get away? Oh my god, he's got a bottle, and throws out the slow there, which actually procs the stun. But over here is Keeper looking for a root. Will throw it down, and this is going to be a death for Master. Just barely there, and now they're going to chase down a lot of people. Wall going out will stop Keeper the Forest, and he's going to die to the Shelter, plus the Song of the Sea can help finish off Balthazar, and this should be a kill as well. Run, buddy. Not going to be enough. Trying to port here is Succubus. Will happen as the Life Essence strain came out from Empath, but of course doesn't stun unless you break it. Top secondary tower fell, by the way, so dnL has a massive lead right now. And it's 5-5 in hero kills, so that's mostly from a couple of tower kills, and Zlapt on this Tempest farming his butt off. And Flensmeister somehow has 470 gold per minute. A couple of kills on the Warbeast certainly help, as I think Kindman up there did not play super well. Dying twice to a Bubbles, plus getting ganked is not very effective. Over here, Sleep onto Bubbles. But we have 3 heroes over here on the Hellborn with 400 plus GPM, and this would be yet another tower kill. So we're 8 minutes in, and so far the Hellborn have taken 3 towers. Portal Key finished on Bubbles at 8.5 minutes. So like I said, this is an early game team. They got to win this by 30 minutes. That's what they're doing at this point. Stun there onto Master, and the Glacial Blast. He's going to die. Valve jumping in here with the Gurgit, but they Avalanche on top of him and the wall to stop him. Sleep there as Ultimate comes out into both of them. This is going to be a dead Balfagor. Succubus in a lot of trouble, as she actually will put the Heartache onto Tempest. 4 heroes here for the Hellborn. Not a ton of health or mana, but Piercing Shards going to be thrown out by Tundra as he has the Regenerate on him. And so far, so mediocre for most of Legion's side, as 300 GPM on Succubus is the highest that they've got. Balfagor all of a sudden is getting destroyed. Keeper of the Forest is getting destroyed. And both Warbeast and Master Rome's having nothing. Midas going to go over here with Keeper. I think quickly recognizing that he's not going to kill that Keeper. He's just way too tanky, but getting the hell out of there. Bot tower push here by the Legion side as they finally decided to group up. All of Keeper minions will die, but he should be able to respawn them relatively soon. Valve here as well, and his minions go down. This is going to be an easy tower kill, so... Now the Legion are like, you can push? Well, guess what? We can push too. Check out my minions, buddy. Of course, Keeper with that Ring of Sorcery, keeping the mana up for his team. And the Plated Greaves as well, helping out. There go the Balf minions. Jump in here with Empath inside of Tundra. They put the burst on the Succubus. She dies immediately. Kelp filled onto 2. Wall comes out and everything dies. Balfagor Ultimate finally coming out. Not doing nearly enough damage. There's actually Goo picks up a couple of heroes over there. Tundra still on the chase, so this is so far a 4 for 2 in favor of Hellborn, and now Master is probably going to fall here. Despite the charge shot and the Fork Lightning, they still got the Syria. There you go. Scratching Shards, and that's it. So Provost picks up a hat trick. That's a genocide in favor of the Hellborn side as the announcer yells it out. Thank you, Miss Pudding. And once again, the Hellborn side taking an enormous lead. Tempest over here in a little trouble as Keeper has a root plus a Nature's Veil, but decides to leave, so good map awareness there from Zlapt. And it's like to go back to GPM, 500 plus GPM on 2 heroes, 450 on Tempest. As he's sitting on Ring of Sorcery and 1100 gold, he should have more than that. Bubbles, of course, already having his Portal Key. Tundra has his Portal Key as well, so much initiation here from the Hellborn side as dual Portal Keys plus Empath, Jump, Elemental Warp, and Tempest Ultimate to follow things up as he's nearly got his Astrolight finished. Midas returning to bottom lane, and we'll see Succubus here, who's trying to do something for her team. 280 GPM now, 250 on Dolph, so he's recovered a little bit compared to where we saw him, despite the death. But still nothing looking super good here for Legion, as Hellborn's lead is just enormous. The thing is, they're going to have to maintain this for the next 10 minutes or so and win the game in that time. 10-15 minutes maybe, because if they don't, then even with the low GPMs on the Legion side, it's going to get harder and harder for them to push on all these towers because the Legion's push is perhaps stronger than their own, probably in fact. And once the levels start adding up over here for Legion, let's jump over here onto Warbeast, Avalanche comes out, plus the Piercing Shards and the Song and the Sea finishes him off, so lots of burst damage there on Kindman, and Warbeast will fall. Hellborn clearing out Legion jungle as well. And they need to keep doing that. They gotta keep those guys down. Because Warbeast is very item dependent, and he will have a hard time if he's not given enough farm, but he also... Okay, Succubus, you're in some trouble here. Sleep goes down, but there's a Glacial Blast and dumps the stuns there onto Valve. Now Empath going to drop inside of Midas as the Legion team is responding extremely well to this initiation and brings 4 heroes down here. But, you know, even once the levels start adding up here for the Legion side, it's going to get harder and harder for them to kill. So even if they don't turn immediately, you know, they don't go from 30 minutes you're ahead to 35 minutes we're ahead, it's going to be like 35 minutes, 30 minutes you're ahead, 35 minutes you're still ahead but less. And it's getting harder for you to kill us, and it's getting harder and harder for you to kill us, and all of a sudden you can't kill us, and then all of a sudden now we're winning. So, I mean, the turnaround will definitely be slow, considering how well dnL have taken advantage of the early game here. But they still need to keep the pressure up, because they will be in trouble if they don't make sure that they continue to shut down this Legion side. They will farm well. They have minions all over the place to take creeps everywhere. And they've got heroes that, while they are item dependent, they're not so item dependent that they can't recover whatsoever, as this ward will be countered here. Empath and Tundra hanging out. Fork Lightning actually doesn't hit anything. That ward was just placed, of course, so Master going to be a little annoyed about that. As the vision now for the Legion team is non-existent. They got a Rev ward here and a Rev ward there, and that's it. Hellborn have a Rev ward down here, and a Ward of Sight over here in the easy camp blocking it, not giving too much actual vision. So they do have a Ward of Sight over here. Missed that. Bot tower going to be pushed in here by Hellborn, and this should be relatively easy. Mid tower also getting pushed a little bit by the Legion side as there come the Keeper Dogs, but a port will respond to that as Midas is here to help clean up some of these creeps. And that will back the Legion off. Up top over here, Warby's in a ton of trouble. We'll get slept. And there's the Succubus hold on to Bubbles, so he's in a lot of trouble here, as 4 heroes from Legion time will help clean him off. Piercing Charge, just not enough to kill Warby's. And Tundra will portal key away.
Destroyed a Legion tower.
So Warby's just enough to survive. Meanwhile, bot tower actually falls. And so will top tower. Glyph Fortification coming out, not going to be enough, I don't think. As actually Legion will back off this a little bit. Nice initiation there from Tempest, and now Succubus is pretty certainly going to fall. Tempest ultimate is available, but Succubus dying before it needs to go out, while not quite hitting, will only capture this Master, so he's going to die as well. But Keeper just not close enough. And he actually ported out, so don't worry about it.
Rejected.
Top tower is denied. So strong fight back there from the Hellborn side as they pick up a couple of kills, deny their own tower. And the last tower remaining is mid. So we're 16 minutes in here, and we should see by 20 minutes no Legion towers remaining outside of the base. Hellborn, shockingly, still have their mid primary, and they've lost tier 1s on both top and bottom, but considering how many minions are here for the Legion side, it's kind of amazing that their push hasn't been stronger. 5 from Keeper, 5 from Balf, and 2 from Warbeast, but obviously 2 are the most powerful in the game. Over here, see Bubble's going to look for some people, but won't actually find them, and will get out just before he gets caught. Hawk going through here, gonna not actually see Succubus, as she is still sitting on top of Nature's Veil. Looking for a pick onto Tundra. Alchemist Bones at 17 minutes on Midas. Alright. As Tundra has finished up a puzzle box. Looks like Empath is going for the Abyssal Skull, just for Tundra, I guess, and for all the minions, for that matter. No, actually, Tempest minions are ranged, so what am I even talking about? I guess the damage and auras are mildly helpful, but interesting first item there for Empath. You'd think like a tablet or something would be more helpful. Storm Spirit, maybe. Mid push here by the Hellborn side as once again they're just killing all these towers. And this will be a tower death in middle here. Man, that snow is bright. Is it just me, or does that seem extremely bright for some reason? Maybe my room is a little dark. So jump in here by Bubbles, trying to prevent the deny. Won't happen. Empath stun does hit Warbeast, and Regurgitate is going out from Balfour. Doesn't do too much, as the HoN Tour does nothing here. Empath in some trouble. Puts the wall out, tries to run through, not going to happen. Kelpfield on a 4, and the Avalanche is there. Midas combo hitting everything. Succubus going to hold Tempest in the back, but he's going to die for that, in fact, because he's just been sitting there. Puts a sleep on himself, but that's not going to be enough. TPS priceless on that Keeper buys back, and he will be okay. So come in with the root. So 2-for-1 exchange there in favor of Hellborn plus the tower, although it did get denied, losing Empath for Keeper and Succubus. Pretty good trade for them. As they're doing what they need to do, keeping up the pressure. Bubbles jumping in here once again. And now he has no mana, so he's just leaving. Regurgitate getting to pop along with the Warbeast ultimate, but I don't think this is going to be enough. He's just going to run away. HoN Tour popped again. There goes the Shell Surf off to the side. Actually, he dies, so that's a little surprising there. As Kind Man's ultimate lasted just long enough, so I don't know what the hell Flensmeister was planning, but it wasn't a good one. And he paid for it. 15k gold lead here. Now, as actually Master can get stunned out. There's the Avalanche on top of it, and the wall to prevent him from going anywhere.
Beasts of the land, hark my call.
So 15k gold lead, 14.4k experience lead here for the Hellborn side, and they're obviously massively in control of this game at this point. Let's check back in 15 minutes and see what happens. But despite all the action before, it looks like we're moving into a bit of a lull here as Hellborn are regrouping. Tempest Ultimates is available, so I'd like to see them push continuously. Like, they've shown that they're very good at taking towers here. And it should continue. Now, it's possible to go for Kongor first, as it looks like it's what's going to happen. This isn't going to be that fast a Kongor. As actually Empath is de-warding over here, so I don't think Legion knows what's going on here. As Master's moving over just to ward, and Warbeast is up top. Doesn't seem interested in porting back. Bubbles and Keeper getting an eyeful of each other here, and this is going to be a Kongor kill. Actually, Warbeast scouting him over here, so they will see it. And Master Goo coming out to let the Hellborn team know that they're there. Legion grouping up here, and is Kongor going to fall here? Are they committing to this? Sleep onto Tempest in the middle of a Glacial Blast animation. Kongor will go down, and Probusk did pick up the token. Now a bunch of Balf minions here are going to be very annoying. Empath Wall coming out of here. Alan North has also popped as just tons of damage dropped onto Master of Arms, and he will die. Kelfield onto Keeper. He also takes the Lex Talianos, but he's already dusted, and he's going to fall here. Port out from Tundra now, as they have 2 picks plus a token. And the rest of his team is going to turn this into a mid-push, it looks like. Buyback is available on Keeper. That will be his final one. Not available on Master of Arms, but he's back up in 10 seconds anyway. Midas cleaning up creep camp. There's 3 heroes here from the Hellborn side are going to push in mid. And passing off to the side, warding, so they have some vision. And Master Goo, of course, going to help out with the anti-push. And the entire Legion side is up now. Shrunken head finish on Warbeast, so that'll help a lot. Because all of the damage is magical, so once he has the Shrunken up, he's just going to be like, guess what, I don't take any damage. Looking for the jump here. Root hits 3. Empath is already just going to push somebody out. Nice Tempest Ultimate there, immediately stopped by the Succubus hold. And there's the HoN Tour on top of it, so Empath going to jump in, but Tempest will fall here. Looking for the escape on Keeper, but is he going to make it? Not quite. Empath is inside of Probusk on Tundra, so looking for the kill there. Will pick off Warbeast somehow. His Shrunken Head just didn't last long enough, I guess, for some reason now. Succubus in the middle of the fight looking for a kill. Now you do get another Tundra, but of course that just procs the token. And there's the CC vote, so
Hellborn had destroyed a Legion tower.
they did it.
Hellborn wins.
I'm extremely surprised they did that. Because they shouldn't have. Midas just laughing, I guess. But like I said, they have to win this in 30 minutes or less, and they did. So well played to dnL there, take a massive lead in the early game, and then just turn that into continuous pressure and pushing down towers. You gotta give them props for knowing what they needed to do and doing it, because I think they recognized pretty from minute 1 that this is a mid-game team. They designed it to be a mid-game team. They've got to win in the mid-game. They can't get to late because Warbeast will wreck them. So Legion, I'm a little surprised too that they weren't able to hold this off better. Succubus, Balfour, Keeper of the Forest, they should be a little bit more adept at stopping the push, especially with the Master's Goo. For some reason, I guess they just didn't respond well to it. It felt like Hellborn were always taking towers and Legion wasn't really consistently defending them, and they weren't pushing very hard themselves considering how much push they did have. So I think not very well played here from the Legion side. I don't think, to be honest with you, I didn't like either side's drafts. I didn't like either side's lanes, and I think with a little better, more sensible decision-making on the Legion side, they could very well have won this game, but they do not. dnL takes game 1. Well played to them, well executed, and then we will move on to game